This is Crave News Money with Kent Emmons.
Joining me on the line, Hollywood icon, entertainment attorney, real estate mogul, and a dear friend to everyone here in Hollywood, Howard Levine. Howard, how are you?
I'm doing great today, Kent. Yourself?
All is good here. Kind of wild and crazy here in LA with everybody shut down. As you know, you can see from your place up on the hill, no one on the freeway, nobody really out hanging out doing too much.
It's a very surreal time that we're living in.
It really is. And I don't know if you know, or if you knew this, the governor here actually just extended the stay-at-home thing until May 15. That just came out a few minutes ago. So it's going to be really quiet, which kind of leads me into some of the stuff I want to talk about with you. Is you have a great handle on the economy. Again, you're an entertainment icon. You managed Madonna. You run networks. You're sharp as can be. You're also very worldly when it comes to finance. When do you see this thing unlocking at its earliest, and under what circumstances does this thing unlock?
Well, I guess it depends on how you define unlock. I think that there's really a couple of different steps, maybe three different steps to look at. The first one is when things start getting back to, I don't want to say normal, but when the stay-at-home order is mitigated and people are able to go out, but in small groups, still with social distancing. I think the second step after that is really the big one, which is when we have a vaccine, and most people say that's about 18 months out. And then there's the final step, which I would call the new normal, once society has been able to digest this pandemic and figures out a way forward.
When you say 18 months out, what step of that were you talking about?
18 months out is when all the experts say, including Dr. Fauci, is a realistic timetable to have a vaccine. So we will have testing, we will have heightened testing before that. It looks like we will also have some level of treatments before that. But I don't think it's realistic to think that things will return back to the way they were until there is a vaccine that people can take that will cure them of the disease. Because, Kent, as you know, the big problem we have is that it's not so much isolating the people that have the virus, or that are symptomatic. The problem is identifying the people that are asymptomatic, that have no symptoms, but also have the disease and are capable of actually transmitting it to healthy people. And I think that's the big problem that we have, and that's the sort of Damocles that's hanging over all of us right now.
And that's on the virus side of it, too. Let's go to the finance side. On the finance side, of course, you've got record unemployment. I mean, no one's ever seen anything like this, ever. And it continues to just pile on and pile on and pile on. And as Trump has the COVID show every day, and Mnuchin gets on and says, or the economy is going to bounce back, it's going to zoom back, it's already on its way back. You know, there's no realistic way of looking at this where it could ever zoom back like that. They're already $2.2 trillion into a recovery bill, or into that recovery bill or recovery act, whatever they called it. They're talking about another $16 to $20 trillion out. There's two things. One, what does it do to our currency here in the States? Because the United States already has $25 trillion of current debt. That would take it up to about $45 trillion, with China being our biggest creditor. And two, what does that do to the value of our money?
Yeah, well, the health crisis and the economy are inextricably bound up to a certain level. I mean, you can't divorce the two. But with respect to the issue of the Fed printing money to try to, have what Mnuchin and people like that are calling the V-shaped recovery, where we have some treatment and all of a sudden things go back to normal, that's unrealistic. So I think we have two issues that are happening. One, the Fed is just printing money like it's going out of style. And although we are living in a very deflationary era, at some point as a society, that is going to come back to bite us. And I don't know how long it will take, but at some point, the American dollar, which has always been the gold standard, no pun intended, will be debased. And gold, in fact, will become the de facto gold standard and replace the American dollar as the safe haven currency. So that really concerns me. Gold prices are continuing to go up, and the market has appreciated the fact that you can't keep printing money forever and not turn into Venezuela.
How does that affect then going forward? You've got a massive real estate portfolio, a huge one. How does this affect going forward people's, their homes, their residential homes, their ability to eventually buy homes, the value of their current homes, and these people in record numbers that are now out of work, many of them not getting money as a result of being out of work, maybe getting a little bit of unemployment. How does it affect their credit when they can't pay?
Yeah, so there's actually, three pillars to the stool. We just talked about the Fed, and you're talking about the consumer, but the second pillar of the stool is what's happening in corporate America. And there is so much debt in corporate America, and why that's important to individuals is because if companies cannot pay their debt and they go into bankruptcy and don't come back out again, those jobs will be lost forever. And that is going to have a ripple effect on the economy, so that if AMC goes out of business and doesn't come back, then all the people that worked at AMC won't have jobs. Well, it's not only those people, but it's the people in their universe that they support. They're hairdressers, they're butchers. So this really will have a rippling effect throughout the economy. And I believe also that there has really been a paradigm shift, and a lot of what the new normal will look like was already going to happen. I mean, obviously, the migration to digital from bricks and mortar has been going on for a long time, but I believe the virus is going to accelerate dramatically that change. So let's talk about real estate, and specifically office buildings. Everybody assumes we're going to have a V-shaped recovery and all the lawyers, accountants, and business folks are going to go back to their offices. Well, they're used to teleworking now, and they're doing Zoom calls like you and I are doing. And if I'm managing a big law firm, my thinking would be, why do I want to spend all that money paying rent when I have now established that I can have my lawyers and my paralegals and my administrative assistants work virtually as much as possible? Now, I'm not saying the commercial office building is going to go away overnight, but look at what happened to shopping malls. Nobody ever thought shopping malls were going to go away, and they aren't completely going away, but they're being completely transformed into shopping destinations, to lifestyle experiences. I mean, companies like Macy's may never come back from this recession, depression, whatever you want to call it. Now, that will spill over into residential, obviously. People are not making rent payments. That's going to squeeze the landlords, and the landlords have to go back to the banks and hopefully get their debt service, their mortgages forgiven or deferred. And so the ripple effect throughout the economy, I believe, will be with us for many, many years to come. And I believe a V-shaped recovery is happy talk. Whether it's a U-shaped recovery or an L-shaped recovery remains to be seen. A lot of pundits, including Kramer, have talked about this being like the Great Depression. Nobody has a crystal ball. We're in uncharted waters. But if I can give the viewers one piece of advice, and that is to err in the side of caution. And even though the stock market has bounced, people call it a bear market rally, a lot of people, especially millennials, they were too young to really remember the 2008-2009 financial crisis. So they only have known the last 10 years of bull market. And everybody's assuming, well, this is a good time to buy. But what I would caution everybody is that FOMO, which is fear of missing out, should be put to the side. And the real acronym that you need to worry about is, haven't figured out how to pronounce it yet, but it's FOML, which is fear, or FOLM, fear of losing money. And I caution all of your viewers to really be prudent and cautious with their finances, because we just don't know how long this will last and what the economic repercussions will be.
That makes a lot of sense. Now on a little happier note, we got to wrap this up here. Having Howard Levine on here. Howard, of course, real estate mogul, attorney here in Los Angeles. Great, great guy. Hollywood icon, I'm going to ask you, once this thing is over with, we can get to the airport. What are you going to do? Where's the first place you're going to go?
Bali.
Heading to Bali?
And hopefully you'll join me in my villa at Coachella in October.
I will be there. I will be there at Coachella with you in October, along with a bunch of other crazy people. Howard, I can't thank you enough for being here. Thank you for your insight. It's great to have you with us. Howard Levine.
Thank you. It's an honor.